Hello, thank you for joining us for the Chancellor's Doctoral Incentive Program info session. My name is Nam Nguyen, and I am from the Office of Graduate Studies and Research at Cal State San Marcos. And it is my pleasure to serve as the campus coordinator for the CDIP program, as well as the Sally Casanova 3-Doc program. I just want to let you know that we are recording this session and we will be sending out the slides. So don't feel like you need to really jump in there and take too furious of notes. We'll go ahead and get these slides over there to you, okay? So tonight we're going to be talking a little bit about the goal of CDIP, some of the benefits if you're selected as a fellow. We'll talk about the application process, and we'll also take some questions through the chat as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. So what is CDIP? CDIP was created to build a CSU faculty recruitment pool that is as diverse and as rich and talents as our student population. To fulfill this objective, CDIP aims to establish a diverse faculty community at the CSU, provide mentoring and resources to assist in applying to CSU tenure track positions. And something that's unique for CSU lectures is 25% of our CDIP awards are designated for current CSU lecturers. So that's something that's really great for those of you who are current lecturers that are in doctoral programs right now. So what does CDIP offer? Really a whole lot, but we'll be focusing on 3 areas, which is mentorship, professional development, and financial loans. So mentorship, this is the crux of the CDIP program, in our opinion. When you go through the program and the application process, as many of you have seen, you will partner up with a CSU faculty member who will support in your professional development opportunities or activities and as you progress through the program. They're going to really help guide and advise you and help find even potential opportunities for employment at CSU through the tenure track position. But they'll really give you an insight what it looks like and what it feels like to be a CSU faculty member. Now on to the professional development benefits. As a fellow, you have the opportunity to apply for a mini grant, which is up to $2,500, and it covers any type of collaborative research that you're doing, activities that are pertaining to your current dissertation right now. The funds can be used for research supplies, equipment, software. You can use it to pay for folks to do transcriptions, coding, analysis for you. So that's a really great perk, the mini grant program. The other opportunity is the travel grant, which is a perk not just for you, but also your mentor. The travel grant allows you to fund fellows and mentors up to $1,500 to travel to conferences and professional meetings and workshops. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to present at these workshops, but I would recommend that if you have something in mind right now that you'd like to go to for the fall, you're not sure if you're going to be presenting, maybe put it in your collaborative study support plan, and we can talk more about that later. But again, the travel grant program is wonderful for not just you, but also your mentor. We also offer a membership to NCFDD as a professional development perk. And finally, for those who have already advanced to candidacy, you're eligible to apply for one of 10 dissertation fellowship awards, which is in the amount of $5,000 to really help in your final year of your doctoral studies programs, which is amazing. The third opportunity is financial loans. Now, as a fellow, you have an ability to apply for up to $10,000 per year over 5 years. So a maximum, but it's a maximum of $30,000 during your tenure as a fellow. These are repayable over a 15-year period. But what's great about these loans is that if you are able to secure a postdoctoral teaching employment at the CSU, they are forgivable. So if you find a position that's full-time, they're forgivable for 20% for each year full-time postdoc teaching. And if you find a position at part-time, it's at a 10% forgivable rate. So that's awesome. And that's also further if you find a lecturer position, whether it be a full-time or a part-time position. Now, repayments are, I know a lot of folks have questions on repayment. We have a link there that you can go ahead and click on. And once we send you the slides, that you can see what that scale is. And when those payments usually take place. I believe it takes place 1 year after you finish your doctoral program or you withdraw from your program. There's a 1-year grace period. But again, the percentages and the scale can be found there. So let's talk about who is eligible to apply for CDIP. Those who are either currently in a doctoral program or new in terms of you're currently applying for a doctoral program in an accredited program in the United States, you're eligible to apply. Folks who are undergraduates or master's level graduate students who are in the process of applying to doctoral programs are also eligible. And also, as I mentioned earlier, if a student is currently a lecturer who holds a full-time or a part-time position at a CSU, you're also eligible to apply for the program. We do have some special considerations for those of you who may be in a professional post or a professional doctoral program, such as a DPT, a doctoral nursing program, or maybe an EDD, as well as some online programs. You can only apply to CDIP only if you plan on, one, pursuing a tenure track position at the CSU, but also if your doctoral program's mission explicitly states that the purpose of that program is to prepare you to become a university faculty member and to teach at a university faculty member. And the reason being for this is that some of these professional doctoral programs really are to prepare folks for outside of the university level and being in the community or being in the field. Whereas CDIP is really focused on bringing folks to teach at the CSU level or excuse me, at the CSU. I know there's a lot of questions that come up about this, about CSU EDD programs. Unfortunately, if you're currently in a CSU EDD program, you would not be eligible for CDIP because based on California Education Code, those programs are really created to prepare admin leaders in K through 12 and community college levels. So unfortunately, we just wouldn't be able to take an application from folks in a CSU EDD program. Now, U.S. citizenship is not required to apply for CDIP, but applicants must be eligible to work full-time as a faculty member in the U.S. to be considered for eligibility for CDIP. Let's spend a little bit of time talking about CDIP faculty mentors. So again, the crux and the biggest key component to CDIP is the partnership and the relationship our fellows develop with their mentors. And then the foundation of the mentorship relation is, at this point, really is to not only develop a strong collaborative plan of support, but also enact that CPS. So the CPS is a roadmap that you and your mentor will, again, develop together and agree upon. And you'll be checking in with each other throughout your tenure through the program to ensure that it's really preparing you to be a successful professional in a successful professional candidate as a faculty member at the CSU. The key is interpersonal trust and communication. We really encourage mentors to share what their experience was when they went through not only their doctoral program, but also their process of finding a position at the CSU. What did they learn? What did they wish they know? Talk about all the things that perhaps you don't get an opportunity to talk about in your current doctoral program. Talk about work-life balance issues, talk about shared governance, talk about all of it. So we really encourage mentors to disclose and be very forthcoming with their mentor. The other thing is your mentor doesn't necessarily need to be from your specific field of study, but we do recommend that there is something that they could speak to when it comes to your specific area. How do you find a mentor? So hopefully many of you are in the end stages or have already secured a mentor, but if you have not, that's okay, there's still time. If you were a CSU student at one of our 23 campuses, you can reach out to your undergraduate advisor, maybe if you did some research in a lab, your thesis advisor, your thesis committee members, that would be awesome. If you are a current CSU lecturer, perhaps you can connect with the chair of your department or another tenure track faculty member or a tenure track faculty member in your discipline, in your department. If you currently don't have any ties with the CSU, that's fine as well. We encourage you to maybe do a little research of those faculty members who are currently in the field that you're interested in, maybe that you've heard speak at a conference or read any of their articles or so forth. Reach out to them. You can contact us and we'll be more than happy to try to at least start the ball with that. We do have a lot of connections on campus with our through our Office of Graduate Research and Studies. So that could be a starting point for you as well. And then also the Chancellor's Office, CDIP office can also assist. So let's talk about the fellow selection process. So we always get, what is it really the committee is looking for? What can make me shine above somebody else's application? And these really, it kind of drives down to these kind of components. The committee is really looking for individuals who reflect the diverse student community we have at the CSU. They're looking for folks who have potential ability to contribute, whether it be through research, through their teaching, through their service. Their trajectory, their professional goals really resonates with the goals of the CSU. And of course, for those that have a deep passion and not only a passion, but it is in their core values that they promote social justice, inclusivity. And what we recommend is, as you're pulling your application together, you're really looking at it through the lens of how do you tie it back to the CSU mission and goals? Again, because CDIP is to really provide a diverse faculty pool for our campuses, we really want to make sure that the individuals who are selected for this fellowship are individuals who can speak to the CSU, who understand what the CSU goals are, and most importantly, understand the student body. So everything you're doing, your letters of recommendation, your collaborative plan of study, your statement, really look at through the lens of, how does this connect back to the CSU? The selection committee will be looking at your academic achievement and your potential. So things that you'll want to include in your CV are if you were a McNair scholar, any honors, were you a Sally Casanova scholar? Things that have prepared you, things that can speak to your academic success, including presentations, publications, professional conferences, workshops, things that you're currently writing on. Perhaps you're currently in a school district or you're working on plans or lesson plans, you can discuss that as well. And then we also want to talk about a little about the clarity of your research plan. So you want to make sure that your mentor is speaking to this in the letters of recommendation, but you're also speaking to this in your statements of purpose. And this next slide is what I had mentioned before. It's connecting it back to the CSU and your passion for the student body. So what is your connection to the CSU? Talk about that. Were you a student, an undergrad or grad student? Did you have family members here? Did you live locally? If you didn't, that's totally fine as well. But what is it that draws you to the CSU? You want to talk about potential research collaborations with any CSU faculty that you have done before, or if not, what you plan on doing in the future. You also want to talk about, is there evidence, any evidence for teaching in a diverse student population? So if you've TA'd any classes, if you're currently a lecturer, if you're currently teaching right now, talk about that. Talk about how you've been able to incorporate DEI stuff in that. Talk about what is the reflection of that student body is. Because for non-CSU applicants as well, we want to want to understand, do you understand the mission and have knowledge of the CSU? So do some research, look at our demographics, look at what our priorities are. And again, these points really should be connected through the lens as you're writing your statement, as well as your collaborative plan of action. Another area that the selection committee is looking at is your discipline area. One of the requirements in your application is to submit a posting of a tenure track position. And the reason why they do that, where we ask that, is because we want to see what are the hiring needs of a faculty member in your area of study. The committee members will have access to the data of the number of applicants for certain positions that are open. But if you have an area of specialty in or if your research area is in an up and coming specialty area or a special needs area, then you'll want to make sure that you point that out, because then it's showing us that that you definitely have a niche that is needed in the CSU faculty pool. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about the application process. So how do you apply to CDIP? If you haven't done so already, you're going to want to review the information at our San Marcos website, as well as information at the CSU website. You're going to want to secure a faculty mentor at CSU San Marcos. And I want to take this opportunity and say that if your faculty mentor is not at CSU San Marcos, you're going to want to go through the CDIP application process of the campus, at the campus of where your mentor is at. So as much as we want to help you, and I can answer as many questions as I can hope to try to, but each campus has their own process. So it might be a little different, let's say, if your mentor is at Long Beach. So if they're at Long Beach, you're going to want to go through Long Beach process. But if your mentor is at CSU San Marcos, you're at the right place. So this is how you submit through San Marcos. You're going to want to submit an application package in PDF form to the email listed there by our campus deadline of February 1st. And I want to reiterate, the campus deadline for San Marcos is February 1st. Because again, each campus may have different deadlines, different process, but you want to go ahead and submit your application package in a PDF format to gradstudies@csusm.edu to the campus deadline, by the campus deadline of February 1st. What will happen at that point is your application will be reviewed at the San Marcos level. And at that point, the selection committee will determine if they will choose your application as one of the CSUSM nominees that will be moving forward to the next round for selection at the CSU level. I should say CSU whole level. So what is in that application package? You're going to submit a student information form, and that's really a quick snapshot for us at San Marcos, just to get some basic information from you, and it'll be listed there. You're going to want to submit your curriculum vitae or your resume, no longer than 4 pages. You're going to want to submit a qualification and motivation statement, no longer than 3 pages. You're going to want to submit a collaborative plan of study support, which is the CPS, that has been created in collaboration with your faculty mentor from San Marcos. you're going to need to submit a CSU faculty position announcement and a minimum of 2 letters of recommendation. As I mentioned before, the curriculum vitae is no more than 4 pages. Really focus your academic and professional accomplishments, including any scholarly conference presentations, regional or national, anything that could help show your achievements, and also what are your achievements and how can they tie it to the CSU. In terms of your qualification and motivation statement, this statement should be limited to 3 pages, as I mentioned before. It should discuss your commitment to becoming a CSU faculty member. Talk about your academic preparation to be a faculty member here at the CSU. Any professional experiences that you might have in teaching and research. And I really want to focus, like, be what I personally think that really stands out at the CSU level that may not be as pronounced maybe at a R1 institution is CSU faculty are so well-rounded and how do I say, really focus in 3 areas. They're not only experts in research, but they are experts in teaching, and they love teaching. And they're also really engaged at the community level, whether it be community on campus, community with their students, with their faculty peers, with the staff, the administration, but also the local surrounding community at the campus that they're in. So you're going to want to talk about that. Again, if you have connections to the CSU, you want to talk about that. And really discuss your dedication and your ability to teach a diverse student body. What does that look like to you? What does that mean to you? And how would you be able to leverage your skills and all the training you've had to this point to be successful in that? So I think this is a really big chunk of where you're going to spend a big chunk of your time is the collaborative plan of support. Now, this is going to be done in collaboration with your faculty member. And again, this is going to be something that's considered like a roadmap of what are your goals that you're going to achieve with your mentor throughout your time as a CDIP fellow. So we have some examples on our website of different formats of what this CPS is going to look like. But ultimately, you're going to talk about what are some activities, what are some milestones or goals that you have with your faculty member, and you want to identify timelines and build progressively on that. So it could be something like in year 1, you're really going to want to focus on your teaching skills, whether it be developing a syllabi, developing your syllabus, etc. And how can your mentor really assist you on that? It could be year 2. How do you want to really delve back into your research, and what can your faculty member provide in terms of opportunities for you to grow in that area? You want to talk about conferences and meetings and other opportunities for you to not only present and learn at in your collaborative plan of study. And this is where you're going to want to talk about if you want to go to X conference with your mentor because you both want to submit a poster together on whatever topic you want to do. It really shows how the mentor really helps the fellow understand what the CSU is about and then our academic culture is about. And it will help give us a detailed idea of what the plan is for you in terms of getting you ready for once you're done with your program to secure a position and to, well, not necessarily just to secure, but to be competitive when it comes time for you to apply for a faculty position at the CSU. Some possible collaborative activities that you could include in your plan is perhaps collaborative syllabus developing and teaching with you and your mentor, any research projects, publications that you could work on together, grant proposals, that's always awesome. as I mentioned before, you could participate in professional seminars and meetings and present together. If you happen to be at the same campus, or if there's opportunities for you to join them on campus, perhaps you can be involved in campus committees and meetings. And this is really going to help ultimately to tighten up and develop that CV for you to be competitive when it comes time for you to go into the job market pool. Again, in your package, you're going to need to submit a position announcement. Now, your faculty member should be able to provide you, if you can't find one, with a copy of a recent tenure track announcement to show evidence that the CSU has sought positions in your field of study. HR postings will have it as well. HireJets.com or things of that nature or entities of that nature will also be able to help procure position announcements. But again, what we're looking for, and I say we as in not just here when you're going through the CSUSM process, but as the CSU system-wide process, is really fulfilling a niche or an area of need. So if there isn't a lot of postings or availability for your area that might speak to something, I can't necessarily say exactly what, but it might raise some questions. So if that is the case, or that you aren't finding a lot of postings available, then maybe you can take that opportunity to speak about perhaps maybe why, or maybe when it comes time for you to apply for these positions, why there might be more opportunities then. Your letters of recommendation, one should be from your faculty mentor, and the other could generally oftentimes be from your dissertation chair. They should talk about successful collaborations that you might have had between you and your CSU mentor. The quality of the institution that you're at, the department that you're at, the quality of writing you do, and the degree that you're currently pursuing. It should really speak to your potential to become a CSU faculty member. And also how you can connect in your passion for CSU students. Now, I do want to talk about one quick thing. When it comes to CSUSM's process, you will be submitting your application package first as a PDF packet. So your faculty will be, your letters of recommendations, they'll be sending it to you and you'll be uploading it into that PDF to be reviewed at the campus level. Should you be approved to move on to the CSU system-wide level, your recommenders will be asked again to submit their letters of rec, because at that point, your information will be entered into a system and they'll get an email asking them to upload their letter. So just as a courtesy, you might just want to let them know that that they will be asked for letters of rec twice. If they have any questions on that or concerns about that, just let them, you're more than welcome to have them chat with me. So just an overview of the application timeline. By February 1st, that is, again, the CSUSM campus deadline for you to submit your PDF application package. And those must include all those items that we just went through above. So you'll need to do that in order to be considered one of CSUSM nominees. Over those really quick couple weeks, the faculty selection committee will be reviewing all the applications. And should your application be chosen to move on to the next stage, we'll notify you no later than February 24th that you are one of our CSUSM nominees. And the reason why this is important to note is if you, again, as I mentioned before, if you are moved on to the next level, your information will be moved up to the Chancellor's office, but you will be required to upload your application again through in a system called InfoReady. Now, we'll let you know by no later than February 24th, so that gives you about a week turnaround time to get access to the link. Just electronically upload your application so that it gets put into the pool for the system-wide selection committee to review. On sometime mid-April, end of April, The CDIP selection committee, the system-wide selection committee will review campus nominations. And by the end of May, they will send selection notification emails out to those fellows that were selected. So you're looking at a couple times that you'll be notified. Mid-ish to no later than February 24th, you'll be notified if you are one of the CSUSM nominees. And if you are, you will be notified by the end of May if you are selected to be a CDIP scholar. Excuse me, CDIP fellow. Let's see here. Any other questions? Do you have any questions? Let's take a look. Any questions?